What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to episode 269 of Cocktails in the War Room. We are now 4 years old and counting. We just celebrated our 4th anniversary on March 14th. First of all, welcome. I'm your host, Mistress Carrie. If you're new, especially if you're watching on Instagram or YouTube, you can join everybody that's been watching all of the other episodes of Cocktails in the War Room on Facebook, the War Room family, as they have dubbed themselves. Welcome to the War Room. This is a room in my house that, we've called it the War Room ever since I got the house. It's where I keep all of my family's military memorabilia. It's where I keep all the stuff that I brought back from my trips overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it is also where the bar is. So during the height of the pandemic on March 14th of 2020, when things really got bad really quickly, we started getting together live here in the War Room to talk about the craziness of the world, have a drink, make each other laugh, support each other through hard times. We did 80 nights in a row. And then when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast in June of 2020, we started Cocktails in the War Room as a weekly show, and that's where it's been ever since. So every Tuesday night at 8:30, we get together now on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to talk about music, talk about everything that's going on, shows, sports, whatever it is that you want to talk about. I let you know where you can come and hang out with me, introduce you to my partner in crime, Wednesday, who is here. Come here, Wednesday. If you're new to the show, let me introduce you to Wednesday. She's my co-host. She has been the peanut butter to my jelly, the marshmallow to my fluff, the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson since this whole thing started. By the way, that's where you can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. Get down. Good girl. And we bribe her with cookies and her own drinks, which she has right there, to sit in her spot and do tricks for you guys until she gets bored, and at which point she leaves us, and then she comes back if you guys bribe her with treats. Speaking of that, mail call always happens later on in the show, but you guys will notice an addition to the War Room decor in here. This came in the mail call today without a card. I wanted to put it up so that it would actually be illuminated and you guys could check it out during the show, but I don't know who sent it, so we'll have to figure that out in a bit. Jessica saying the Baltimore bridge that collapsed this morning. Yeah, it's the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Insane. The video footage is insane. A cargo ship lost its ability to navigate, hit one of the pylons. You can actually go and listen to the police scanner audio. And they knew that the ship was out of control because I guess the captain of the ship reported it. And, Norman says salute from Quebec City. Well, hold on. Let me open my ginger beer here. I didn't have a chance to finish mixing my cocktail before we got in here. Quebec City, Normand. I don't know if this is your first time in the War Room, but if it is, welcome. Make sure that if you're new, let us know that it's your first time hanging out in the War Room, and let us know where you're watching from so the War Room family can welcome you properly. And, by the way, if you want to be in on all of the War Room inside jokes, all you got to do is go to mistresscarrie.com. The Cocktails in the War Room section has a link for the dictionary, which is where we put like all the glossary terms, the inside jokes, the things that have happened over the last 4 years, so that new people can keep up. So Normand, I'm assuming is how you say it, Normand. If you're from Quebec City, I'm assuming there's a little French in there. So cheers to you. So anyway, the scanner audio of the police, they were able to block off the bridge. There were crews doing repair work on the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And so you could hear them saying, get the foreman, get the people off the bridge for now. They didn't know the ship was going to hit the bridge. They sure as heck didn't know it was going to collapse the bridge. But they were able to keep most people, including traffic, off the bridge. But if you look at the footage, there were some cars that fell. 2 people were rescued out of the river. 6 more are missing. They've called off the rescue mission, and it is now a recovery mission. So 6 people presumably have passed away, because of the collapsed bridge. No word as to why yet. I haven't seen anything yet. Whether it was operator error, whether it was mechanical failure, I'm not really sure. The bridge collapse is so scary. I am always so anxious on bridges. You know what? I saw a lot of my friends posting about that on Facebook, saying that like they have a healthy fear of bridges, and that's why, like nightmare fuel. It's like Mike Shue that I worked with for years at AAF and work with now at the Pike in Worcester. He told me a long time ago, and he's talked about it on the air, that whenever he goes into the bathroom, he always looks in the toilet before he sits down because of all of the stories of snakes coming up the toilet. That's why he says that. And so anytime I see a story online about a snake coming up through the toilet, I always tweet it to him, and he gets so mad at me. So today, Steven Tyler's birthday. Jessica, we're going to go through all of the birthdays. At 7:30, they canceled the search and rescue. It's now a recovery. Yeah, I saw that they had done that, which is so sad. Can you just imagine? Either you're a repair, because I haven't said who the people were. So we don't know if they were repair workers on the bridge. We don't know if they were first responders trying to clear the bridge. We don't know if they were just pedestrians or people in vehicles that were stuck on the bridge. We don't know. So it's just so scary and sad. Let's see. Mistress Carrie, good to hear your voice. Been a minute. Grew up on AAF. What's up, Wolfpack22 on Instagram? We meet here every Tuesday night on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can go to mistresscarrie.com, get all the episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast and all of the old episodes of Cocktails in the War Room that started over 4 years ago now, which is pretty crazy. Bish says, Facebook won't let me post in the chat. Bish, you are posting in the chat. I can see your comments. Let's see. Talking about snakes and in walks Keith, says Jonathan. Alicia, what's going on? She says, hello to the War Room family. Voorhees says the chief engineer on that container ship is going to have a very good night tonight. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Toxicology, I'm sure they are going to climb up one side of that guy's colon and down the other, making sure that all of his certifications were up to date, making sure that he wasn't on drugs, making sure that he wasn't sleeping in his quarters and left it to the first officer. This investigation is going to be thorough, and the video of the camera, of the video footage of the camera angle, I mean, it's like slow motion. Yes, Wednesday. Dina says they said they are the construction workers that were working on the potholes. Oh, you can hear the police scanner audio, and they were saying, like, we need to get in touch with the foreman, and the cruisers had blocked off either end of the bridge. But the bridge, I believe, is 1.6 miles long, so it's not like they could just yell out to get off the bridge. I mean, talk about horrifying. Just, it's such a scary situation. Let's see. I will join now, and I won't lie, I cried to see that you went off the air. Oh, thank you. It's one of the things that we always talk about here in the War Room, obviously, is all of the great stories from WAAF, but then all of the new places that you can find me on the radio, the podcast, here in the War Room. So I haven't gone anywhere. Facebook isn't letting me reply to the comments, says Alexis. That's really weird. I don't know why. I don't know if it's comments through Facebook. I don't know if Facebook people can see the YouTube comments or Facebook people can see the Instagram comments. It might not be letting you comment to the other social media accounts that are in the comment chat. I don't know. Trina says, same here with my IBS, whatever was in there. Let me see. Oh, Trina's talking about checking the toilet to see if snakes are coming up there. A lot of people saying they've driven over that bridge before. I have too. Jessica says, my dad used to drive over the Baltimore Bridge when he used to work for the railroad. Donna says, I cannot see comments on Facebook at all. That's really weird, guys. This technology that allows us to multi-stream the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram is new just in the last month. And I know that they've been working bugs out. Wednesday, there are no more cookies. So Voorhees says, testing, reply to Alexis. I will let you guys try and work it all out. Michael says, I'm replying to myself right now. So I think what's happening is the replies are showing up as individual comments and not as threads under the original comment of the person you're messaging back. Melissa says, checking in from Oklahoma City today. What's up, Melissa? Jeff says, I can't see any comments either. Okay, I can see all of you guys commenting, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm not sure why you guys can't see them. Wednesday, can you please, the cookie pocket is empty. There's no more cookies. You ate them all. They're all gone. All gone. Yes, good girl. Just sit down and be cute now. There's no more cookies. That's weird. I can't see any of the comments either, says Michelle. Joshua says it was like losing a family member when you went off the air. I was there for the last hour of AAF. Trust me, it was like losing a family member for me too. But let's see. Betty says, okay, the TV is behind. Instagram hits different than Facebook. Maybe it's the way your face is framed. It's all good though. Yeah, so Instagram, the aspect ratio is different than on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're watching on Instagram, you're seeing this part of the screen, and that means you can't see the graphics that are on the sides of the screen. You can't see the pictures or even more the artwork on the walls of the war room. It's just the aspect ratio is a little bit different. All I see is who joined, says DeReal67 on Instagram. Just checking in. Nothing is showing, says David Parker. Is there a setting in the live? Donna, I will have to check. They update this software all the time. And so let me see if there is recording output. Options. Picture in picture. I am not seeing anything in the settings on my end, but I may have limited access to what I can actually change while we're actually live. Kurt says, shout out to Maine. Oh, shout out from Maine. What's up, Kurt? I hope you're listening to me on the bone. I'll go over all the stations that you can hear me from coming up. Voorhees says, are comments supposed to be shared amongst the multiple streaming partner services? I don't know. It was my understanding that Instagram would see Instagram comments, Facebook would see Facebook comments, YouTube would see YouTube comments, but all three comments would show up in the stream on my end. So I could address all of you equally rather than having three comment windows open, because my view doesn't allow me to do that. So I can see all of your comments, and there's a little icon that shows me where you're commenting from, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. So Jonathan says, so happy the lovely Keith is with us. Let's see. It looks like some of you guys can comment back and forth to each other. I'm not sure why other people can't. It's very, very strange. Hopefully this is only going to be a this week issue, and I will dig in and see if maybe this is just an update. What happens a lot of the time is that they update the software, and then people like me use it, and then we report that things were bad, and then they go in and issue another update to fix things. So maybe this is the current update and they'll be fixing it. I'm not sure. Let's see. Alexa says, going to the Glorious Sons tomorrow night, getting my husband to go finally. Fantastic. Let's see. Trying to get the comments to catch up here. There we go. 2 days left of scalloping, says Joe. Nice. Did Keith get us all in trouble for not wearing pants now? You know what? It's possible. I have told you guys 100 times to wear pants. You're adults. If you don't want to wear pants, I can't make you do it. Wait, I better comb my hair, says Trina. Get Zuckerberg on the case, says Brett. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'm sure he's so eager to take my call. All right, I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you guys about. So first of all, I want to let you know about another event that got scheduled. So if you are not aware, especially to the new people that are joining us on Instagram, YouTube, that maybe didn't know that I've been back on the radio for quite some time at a bunch of different places. Wednesday, will you stop? One of the places you can listen to me every weekday afternoon is 100 FM The Pike, which is in Worcester. Mike Shue, who also was at AAF with me, does mornings. I do afternoons. You can go to pikefm.com and stream the station online. You can also download the Pike app. If you like classic rock, this is where you want to go. So we got a bunch of stuff going on with the Pike. First of all, next Tuesday, I am going to be broadcasting live from Polar Park for opening day of the Woo Sox in Worcester from 3 to 7 at the diner. So if you're planning on going to the Woo Sox opening day, Wednesday's throwing all of her toys around. I need to turn her camera on so you guys can see what I'm dealing with right now. What are you doing? What are you doing, weirdo? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing, weirdo? Here. You want to have a drink? Are you done? Are you done? Having your little fit? Throwing all the pillows around? Are you all done? Okay. Can I go back talking about where people can come and hang out with Mommy? Okay, thank you. So I'll be broadcasting live at Polar Park next Tuesday from 3 to 7 for opening day of the Woo Sox. I am also going to be at the big gig with Mike Shue coming up next month, April 27th at the DCU Center. Stain, Seether, Asking Alexandria, and Tim Montana. The official after party is going to be at Off the Rails across the street on Commercial Street. That is going to be with Paper Cut, the Lincoln Park Tribute Band. That's the official Pike big gig after party. And then Hairfest is coming up at the end of July. That's at Indian Ranch. Leopard, the Def Leppard tribute band, is going to be headlining this year. But it's a full day of the best 80s tribute bands. There's mullets and spandex and crazy concert shirts, and it's always a blast. And it's an afternoon thing, which is really dangerous because there's a lot of day drinking. So all of these events are up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, so you can come and hang out with me. Also, you can hear me every weekday afternoon on 106.3 The Bone. If you like your rock a little bit newer and heavier, you can go to 1063thebone.com or download the Bone app. You can stream the station live. You can hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7. And I am going to be live up in Portland, Maine at the Cross Insurance Arena coming up April 30th, which is just a few days after the big gig in Worcester for the tailgate tour. That is Stain, Seether, Saint Asonia, and Tim Montana. And I'll be broadcasting live from backstage at the Cross Insurance Arena. And like I said, just go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com for all the details on all of the places you can come and hang out with me. All right, if you're new, it is Cocktails in the War Room after all, so we always do a cocktail recipe. I thought this was interesting. It's called the Window Lean. I have all of these bartender books here in the War Room, so every week I try to give you a different drink recipe so you can up your cocktail game. The Window Lean is an ounce of blue curacao, a half an ounce of white rum, a half an ounce of gin, a half an ounce of vodka, 4 ounces of chilled champagne, a spiral of lemon rind to garnish. It says pour the ingredients into a highball glass and stir, add the lemon rind, and serve. So it's basically all booze. Like blue curacao, white rum, gin, vodka, champagne, and a lemon rind in a spiral because you're fancy. How many ounces is that? 1, 2, 6, 5, 6.5 ounces of alcohol in there in one way or another. That's called the Window Lean. I don't know where it got its name from. I don't even know how you would go about garnishing it because it's probably going to get you wasted. So I know we try to stay away from gin every now and again because it is not my favorite, but I thought that was an interesting cocktail for you guys. Need to come up further to Bangor, says Joe. Joe, it's a little bit of a hike, but I am working on it because you guys have the Cross Insurance Center and so many shows go up to Bangor. So I know that I need to get up there. But you can hear me on the bone in Portland. We just got to get a station up in Bangor to put me on the air up there, and then you can hear me every day. Let's see. All booze, yum, says Will. Damn, just drink moonshine by the gallon, says Eric. Can we add crushed ice, Tracy? We add crushed ice to anything we want to because it's the GOAT. You may not want to lean on a window after you drink that one, Trina says. I 100% agree. She said Bangor, but I hardly knew her, says Bish. Sometimes, guys, your jokes make me drink. Because they're terrible, terrible jokes. All right, let's talk about last week's podcast episode. We are getting danger close to episode 200, by the way. So last week's episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast featured Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin, episode 198. Now, Keith Wallen is the guitar player from Breaking Benjamin, but he also has a new solo album coming out on May 3rd called Infinity Now. So he is going to be with Staind later this fall at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion in September with Breaking Benjamin, but he is also going to be on a solo tour as well. So all of the dates to see Keith Wallen, both as a solo artist and as a member of Breaking Benjamin, are all up in the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But I thought Keith was super cool. I had met him briefly back in the day. He's been in Breaking Benjamin for over 10 years now. But it's the first time I got to sit down with him and actually talk about when he started playing guitar, how he songwrites, how he grew up. We just really hit it off. I just thought he was super cool and really nice. And Keith says, crushed ice is terrible. Keith, shush. Crushed ice is delicious. Trina says, WZON in Bangor used to be hard rock in the 1980s. Let's see. Denise says, hi all, sorry I'm late. Ice ruins everything. Not crushed ice. Crushed ice is delicious. I am one of those people that likes all of my drinks very cold, including my coffee, even in the winter. I like ice. And so I prefer crushed ice. It's a surface thing. I like crushed ice better. Joe says, shh, don't show your age. Any news on Steven Tyler? Nope, but I do have some stuff to talk about when we get to his birthday later. Let's see. Trina says, I worked on WZON when they were talk radio. You should have Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. I would love to have him on the show, 100%. Joining from Fort Worth, must have ice, says Jennifer. Yeah, you're in Texas. Of course you got to have ice. But even when it's cold, I like my drinks cold, and that includes my coffee. And what's funny is that the more of these podcast interviews that I do earlier in the day, it always turns into a coffee discussion because depending on where they are, if they're on the West Coast, it's 3 hours earlier, and I always catch them having coffee. So Jessica says crushed ice is amazing. The only thing I like cold is my soul, says Eric. Crushed ice waters down the drink, says Keith. Only if you drink slow, Keith. If you drink fast, it doesn't water down your drink at all. Jason says, God bless the 1980s. John says, awesome job, Carrie. Thank you. I'm not sure why you're telling me I did an awesome job, but I appreciate that. So great discussion with Keith Wallen. If you're a Breaking Benjamin fan, if you're a guitarist, we just talked about a lot of stuff. So episode 198 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is available now. And if you like Breaking Benjamin or whatever, just he's a really interesting guest. So you definitely got to check out this week's episodes. Ices, says Walter. Yeah, Cherry Ices, the GOAT. Absolute GOAT. Stop nursing that drink, says Michael Cole. Exactly. Emily says, crushed ice rocks, Keith. I had no idea we were going to get into such an empowered, impassioned discussion about ice. Let's talk about this week's episode, shall we? Episode 199 of the Mistress Carrie podcast welcomes Chris Jericho from Fozzy to the show. Episode 199 has got us talking about everything. Why Fozzy is releasing singles, not albums now, how Chris Jericho manages all of his time between wrestling and his cruise and his podcast. We talked about how he takes care of his voice because of all the talking and singing and yelling he does while he's wrestling. We talked about his memorabilia collections and some of his most prized possessions, and also the music that inspired him to become a musician and how he fell in love with rock and heavy metal. And also his feelings on the Dunkings, speaking of coffee. So super excited to have Chris Jericho on the podcast this week. I've interviewed him before on the radio show, but it's his first appearance on the podcast, and he did not disappoint. So episode 199, believe it or not, of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Chris Jericho from Fozzy, which means the big 200 is next week, which I cannot believe. We launched the podcast back in June of 2020. It comes out every Wednesday. We have not missed a week in the 4 years that the podcast has been in existence. And new episode every time. I have not had to resort to a greatest hits or a walk down memory lane episode. We've actually released more than 200 episodes because we've released, I think, almost 20 bonus episodes at this point. But numbered weekly episodes. This week is 199. Next week is 200, which I'm just super proud of. Getting to 200 episodes in a podcast is a huge milestone because so many people start podcasts and then they get like 3 episodes in or 10 episodes in or 40 episodes in and then they quit. And so to be able to do new episodes every Wednesday for 4 years now has been pretty great. I just want to show you guys what's happening on the couch. I think she might be drunk. All of her drinks are all over the place. What? Are you sitting very nicely? Are you sitting very nicely, just being a good girl? Surrounded by all of your drinks? Your St. Patrick's Day beer, your Tito's, your Halloween cider. You have a lot of drinks Wednesday. We might have to have an intervention. That's a lot of drinks that you have. You're very spoiled. You're very spoiled, huh? Let's see. Let me catch up on the comments here. He's still wrestling, right? Yep, with the AEW, he's still wrestling 100%. Bish says, holy shit. Let's see. Come to Maine if you want ice. Plenty from this weekend storm. Yeah, people up in Maine just got pounded with snow. I had friends that got 2.5 feet of snow up there, which is just insane. Let's see. 200 is no laughing matter. Most people quit by number 11. Travis is getting ready to push episode 400 of Oscar Mike Radio. So, Travis, I've got a long way to go. Seriously. His wrestling podcast, Talk is Jericho, is awesome, says Bish. That's the thing. He's got so many different things. He's got his rock and wrestling cruise that sells out every year. He's got the podcast, the wrestling, and he's got 2 bands because he's not just in Fozzy, but he is also in a Kiss cover band as well. So he's incredibly busy. The Kiss cover band, by the way, is called Quarantine, and it's spelled with a K in case you want to look them up on Spotify or whatever. All of your hard work is paying off, says Jonathan. Waiting for the cookies, says Cole. Yeah, she's just chilling. She's hoping she's going to get spoiled. Also need to drink We also need a drink called Shame and Regret. That, yeah, 100%. And and few people do weekly shows. You're in the upper right quadrant, says Travis. Thank you very much. She needs a Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill bottle. Do they make those for dog toys? That's pretty hilarious. Wait, Jericho is on this week, says Rachel. Yes, Rachel. Jericho is on this week. Chris Jericho from Fozzy on episode 199 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. This week, it goes live at midnight tonight. We talked about the Beatles. We talked about heavy metal. We talked about his opinions on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We talked about Ozzy. Yes, so Chris Jericho is my guest this week on the podcast. Jessica says, we just got rain here in Kentucky. At my house, I got a mix of snow, then slush, then freezing rain, then sleet, then rain, then back again. But the further north you went, the more it turned into snow. Some places got 30 inches of snow from that rainstorm. It was crazy. Bish says, how long did you talk to Chris? I want to say 30 to 45 minutes. This is not a super, super long episode, but it's a good amount of time. It's not quick. We had a good discussion. Rachel says, I am a Jericholic. Well, then you were going to love this week's episode because we definitely talked about marriage. We talked about his dogs. He has 6 dogs. And we talked about where he got the name because I had to ask him the geezer question, obviously. We talked about songwriting, all kinds of stuff. Snow north of Route 2, that's always the line for me. Yeah, exactly. And then obviously once you get into New Hampshire and stuff. Great to see you, Sunday Mistress. Thank you for all the love and respect. Always. Oh, thank you, Jeannie. I appreciate that. We got to talk about where I was on Sunday coming up. I closed the shades and put on some tropical music. And Trina said, yeah, Trina, a rum drink, some Bob Marley, close the shades and just, what do they say in that movie? Just lay back and think of England or whatever. Yeah, basically. Are his dogs named after wrestlers? No. He got to name one of the 6 dogs. I'm not going to tell you what his dog's name is, but Frank says, miss you on WAF. Frank, I appreciate that. But you can find me at a bunch of other places. Make sure you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, and then you can take me everywhere you want. So there you go. All right. If you want to subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast so you can listen to Chris Jericho on episode 199, when you subscribe, you get the weekly episodes on Wednesdays. You also get the sit rep Monday through Friday, and I fill you in on everything you need to know. Music, tours, albums, streaming, movies, biopics about rock stars that are coming out, technology, apps, movies, television shows, but mostly music-based news, rock stuff, talking obviously about Diddy and the raid at his mansions yesterday, which is kind of crazy. So just all of that stuff, all that music news. It's about 5 minutes long. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7, but it gives you a chance first thing in the morning to get up to date with everything that's going on in about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then you can go about your day. So subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. You get the sit rep Monday through Friday. You get the weekly episodes, bonus episodes. You can listen anywhere you want to listen. Apple, Google, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeart, Pandora. I think the podcast is on over 50 podcast apps now. You can also listen to the full length episodes, audio only on YouTube. Or if you are not tech savvy, just go to mistresscarrie.com. All of the episodes are embedded right there, and then you can just click play on whatever episode you want to listen to. And you can get caught up, whatever you need. Okay, so every week we look at all of the countries that are listening to the podcast. We are still holding firm at 149 countries that have listened to the Mistress Carrie podcast. I got to move my little Mistress Carrie head. There we go. I'm kind of right. I had it perfect earlier. If you guys can see that, I put my little Mistress Carrie head over Massachusetts, and now it's basically over the entire eastern seaboard. There we go. So we're holding firm at 149 countries. I don't know why we can't get that 150th country, but we have not been able to get it yet. If you're celebrating your birthday today, first of all, happy birthday. You're sharing it with James Iha from the Smashing Pumpkins, with Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, and Diana Ross, all born on March 26th. And today is also a somber anniversary. Wednesday, are you okay? Why are you scratching me? Today's a somber anniversary. If you are not in the Northeast, you may not have heard of the Back Bay fire that happened in Boston 10 years ago today. But we lost two very brave firefighters, firefighter Mikey Kennedy, who is right here, and then Lieutenant Ed Walsh, who is next to him. Both of them perished in a fire that was started by illegal ironwork on a brownstone in Boston along the Charles River on a really, really windy day. Originally, they thought that the fire started in the basement because of the heating and air conditioning system in the furnaces. And when Mikey Kennedy and Ed Walsh went down into the basement, the fire took over and actually burned through the fire hose. And so they weren't getting water to be able to escape the fire, and they died in the fire. You may have heard me tell this story before, but over the weekend at Florian Hall in Boston, they had a celebration of Mikey Kennedy's life, and they asked me to go up and say a few words about Mikey Kennedy. And so for anybody that has not heard me talk about Mikey before, I just wanted to tell you just a quick story about my friendship with Mike. So I've done a lot of volunteer work with the Boston Firefighters Burn Foundation over the years, which helps burn victims and their families underwrite the costs of hotels and gas and food so that parents can be with their kids while they're getting burn treatments. They do toy drives and just all kinds of amazing stuff. And the firefighters over the years have gotten pretty creative on how they raise money for the Burn Foundation. For years, they did bachelor auctions, and I actually auctioned dates off with the firefighters. One of those firefighters was Mikey Kennedy, and that's how I met him. To raise more money on the bidding, I used to make the guys take their shirts off and do push-ups and handstands. And there were usually like 500 drunk nurses from all of the hospitals around Boston. And they would get gift certificates to restaurants donated for the dates between the nurses and the firefighters. And we would raise thousands of dollars. And I met Mikey by auctioning him off as a bachelor in the bachelor auction. Then they decided that there was more of an upswing in revenue to have a calendar, a firefighter's calendar, like they do in New York City and so many other places. And that way they could do calendar launch parties. They could sell the calendars. They could get sponsors involved. And then the firefighters would compete to see who was going to get what month in the calendar. And so after a few years of knowing Mikey Kennedy and being involved with the Burn Foundation with him, on March 25th, 10 years ago, 2014, we were at an International Burn Foundation convention that just happened to be taking place in Boston. And burn foundations from fire departments all around the world came to Boston. They would gather, I think, every year, every 2 years, to swap stories about fundraising and events and all of that kind of stuff. And so we were at an event at the Harpoon Brewery, and I was eating this delicious pretzel, which the Harpoon Brewery, which is down by the Leader Bank Pavilion, they have a special oven just to make pretzels for their beers. They're delicious. And I wouldn't stop raving about this pretzel. And Mikey and I were standing at the bar at this Burn Foundation event, and I was like, Mikey, you got to try this pretzel. You got to try this pretzel. It's so good. It's so good. And he was like, nope, I'm off carbs. I'm trying to get ripped for my photo shoot for the calendar. And he's like, I want a good month. I want to be all shredded. And I kept trying to get him to eat the pretzel, and he wouldn't. So I took a picture of one of the pretzels. I think 2 or 3 of them came in the basket because I just couldn't stop raving about how good it was. So later that night, we ended up all at a bar closer to the firehouse where I had parked my car. We ended up closing the bar, just hanging around, talking, laughing, talking about life. We were having serious conversations about relationships, goofy conversations, busting each other's balls. And at the end of the night, Mikey and another friend from the firehouse walked me around the corner because it was late and I was by myself in Boston, walked me to my car. He gave me a big kiss on the cheek, told me to text him when I got home so that he knew that I got home okay. And I went home. And the next day I woke up and I went to work at the radio station in Boston. And that afternoon, news broke about the fire. And I was reporting on this fire and that firefighters were trapped. And then that there were reports that one firefighter had been killed. And then there was a report that another firefighter had been killed. And then there was video footage of one of the news cameras that just happened to catch video of paramedics rushing a firefighter to an ambulance, performing, life-saving measures. And so we knew it was bad. And obviously where the fire was, I knew what firehouse had initially responded, and I knew that that was Mikey's firehouse. And then I got a call on my cell phone Wednesday telling me that it was Mikey, that it was one of the firefighters that had been killed along with Ed Walsh, but they didn't tell me it was Ed Walsh as well. I didn't know Ed, but some of my friends that I was with the night before called to tell me that it was Mikey. And hey, come here. Wednesday. And when people ask me what hard days are when you do what I do on the radio, my answer is always when things are bad, that those are the hardest days. 9/11 was a hard day. September 12th and 13th and 14th were hard days. The entire week following the marathon bombing was really difficult because we are on the air talking about it live as it's happening. And the same thing about the Back Bay fire as well. And then finding out the identity of one of the firefighters that had died and finding out it was a friend and being still on the air in the studio having to work. Those days are hard because you want to be professional and do your job, and all you want to do is curl up in a ball on the floor and cry. And his funeral, the memorial service for Ed Walsh and Mikey Kennedy were days long. Thousands of firefighters came from all around the United States to pay tribute to him. Mikey was also a Marine Corps veteran. So at the event on Sunday, they asked me to talk about Mikey and tell the story that I'm telling you now. But one of the reasons why I tell this story and I show the picture of the infamous pretzel is that entire night that I hung around with Mikey and all of our friends and all the people from the Burn Foundation, Mikey and I never took a picture together. Selfies are so common that everybody does it, but for some reason, Mikey and I didn't take a picture together that night. And so the memory that I have, the story that I have of that night with him, the last night of his life, we didn't know that at the time. The last time I would ever see him, we didn't know that at the time. The only photo that I took that night is of the pretzel. And so every year in my timeline, the picture of the pretzel comes up and it makes me laugh because of just the ridiculous nature of the conversation that I had with him that night. And so I tell it to tell people that when you go out with friends for dinner, to meet them for a show, for lunch, a function, you bump into somebody at the supermarket that you haven't seen in a while, take the pictures. Be like, oh my God, we got to take a picture. I don't have a new picture of you, or just whatever. Just please take the pictures because you're going to wish that you had them. I wish so much that I had a photo of Mikey and I that night, but the picture of the pretzel makes me laugh every time. So Jennifer says, I'm so sorry for the loss of your friend. Thank you. Hi, Annie Joan. Treasure every minute with friends. Absolutely. Words don't do justice to what you go through. I mean, losing people you care about is hard no matter what. But when you are in front of a microphone and you're having a bad day, having to act like you're not having a bad day is really hard when you're having a bad day, regardless of whether there's a microphone or not there. But David Parker says the Bruins are down 3-2. Walter, get the camera, says Will. Exactly. Christine says, I always take pictures. Emily says, what a beautiful memory. Well, that's the thing, right? Is that the pretzel picture, when I talk about Mikey Kennedy, I tell the pretzel story. And, the fact that he walked me to my car last night, and the fact that the last thing he ever did was give me a hug and a kiss on the cheek and ask me to text him when I got home. And that's the mark of a friend, and that was the kind of amazing guy he was. But today is the 10th anniversary of the fire and of his death. So I just wanted to make sure that we commemorated that. So to Mikey and Ed Walsh for being heroes, for saving lives 10 years ago today in Boston, and for being selfless and heroes, to Mikey and Ed. Jason said, me and my best friend never took a picture with each other, and I wish I had because he's gone now. That's what I'm talking about. You might feel ridiculous. And with all of my military friends, whenever we all get together, the guys that I know from Iraq and Afghanistan, I'm always the one taking pictures. And they always give me crap about it. And then they always ask me to text them the pictures later on that night because they know I have them. So take the pictures. Feel stupid if you want, but take the pictures. Right, Wednesday? I take plenty of pictures of you, right? I have a lot of pictures of you because you're so beautiful and fuzzy, huh? Yeah, huh? Sitting there with all of your toys, you spoiled brat. All right, let's talk about some music headlines. Some more tours got announced today. Serj Tankian's memoir coming out May 14th. Pearl Jam's new album, Dark Matter, is out April 19th. They announced that they are going to do a Dark Matter world premiere in movie theaters around the world on April 16th. So if you're a diehard Pearl Jam fan, go to pearljam.com. You can find a theater near you and get advance passes. AC/DC's Power Trip Live European Tour announced the Pretty Reckless is going to be opening up the tour. No dates announced in North America yet. But I think it's pretty telling that they're asking the Pretty Reckless to open up for them. I would like to think that AC/DC is going to announce a fall or winter tour in arenas in North America. That's my prediction. Cage the Elephant is going to do the Neon Pill tour, and that's in support of their new album, Neon Pill, which comes out on May 19th. Slash's blues album, Orgy the Damned, is coming out on May 17th. Killing Floor, the new song featuring Brian Johnson from AC/DC, and the birthday boy himself today, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith on harmonica. That song is out now. You can also check out the video on YouTube. Linkin Park's new greatest hits collection. It's called the Singles Collection 2000 to 2023 Paper Cuts. Comes out on April 12th. The new song Friendly Fire, left off of the One More Light album, is available everywhere. Are you scratching me because you want me to pet you? Is that what you want? Okay, shows at the Garden. Incubus on the Morning View Tour, August 31st. Weezer, The Flaming Lips, and Dinosaur Jr. on September 10th. Jelly Roll on September 26th. By the way, if you are new, all of the shows I'm about to run through obviously are in New England. They are all up on the events calendar, but these tours are nationwide tours. So if you're not in New England, you know these tours are coming to a venue somewhere close to you, and you'll be able to go. The Big Gig 3 coming up at the end of next month. That's Stain, Seether, Asking Alexandria, and Tim Montana. Also at the DCU Center coming up September 13th through the 15th. Silver Scream Con, that is at the DCU in the Convention Center. And Iron Maiden is going to be at the DCU on November 6th. They just announced that the Mongolian rock and metal band The Who, H-U, is that Who? They're going to be opening up for Iron Maiden on that Future Past tour, and that includes at the DCU Center. So if you've got Maiden tickets, do not miss The Who. Get to the DCU Center early that night. Okay, let's see. Starset is coming on May 14th to Big Night Live in Boston. Big Night Live is the venue that's like right next to the TD Garden. The Xfinity Center just announced today Korn, Gojira, and Spirit Box. This is Korn's 30th anniversary year. They're doing their big anniversary show at the stadium in Los Angeles, October 5th. But today they announced their tour. Tickets for this go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. You can get the link on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But all of these shows are coming to the Xfinity Center this summer. Did you guys see the footage of Limp Bizkit in Argentina? 100,000 plus people jumping up and down to break stuff. It looked like Woodstock 99 all over again. It's just crazy. But Korn got added. As of right now, they're the last rock show of the year at the Xfinity Center, and that's going to be on September 21st. So, right, Wednesday? Right? But I added the link and everything. All of those shows are up on the events calendar and the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Adam Ant's going to be at the Wilbur coming up on April Fool's Day. Steve Vai and Joe Satriani at the Orpheum on April 5th. By the end of this week, they are releasing a new song together. These two guys have been friends for 50 years, and they have never released a song together, and they are releasing their first joint song on this Friday. And they're also releasing the video on Friday as well. Greta Van Fleet's going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena August 2nd. Godsmack with Nothing More and Flat Black. The only show anywhere near Massachusetts is going to be at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion July 25th and the Main Savings Amphitheater on July 26th. Speaking of Bangor, Maine. The Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston welcoming I Prevail and Hailstorm on July 16th. Also Slash's Serpents Festival. That's the blues festival that Slash is doing. That's August 1st. 311's Unity Tour with AWOL Nation and Neon Trees is August 7th. And the Bush Loaded Greatest Hits Tour that features Jerry Cantrell and also Candlebox. That's going to be August 24th. Speaking of Jerry Cantrell, Duff McKagan announced at the end of last week that he is on 4 songs on the new Jerry Cantrell solo album that Jerry is finishing right now. So Jerry didn't even announce his own solo album, but Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses announced it for him. Duff also said that because Jerry was on Duff's solo album Lighthouse last year, I should say, that the two of them are thinking about doing a whole record together, a joint venture, which would be pretty interesting. So that's happening at the Leader Bank Pavilion. Let's see. The Sasanta Tour begins. The first date is April 2nd at the Box Center Wang Theater. This tour celebrates Maynard James Keenan's 60th birthday. It's Primus, Pussifer, and A Perfect Circle at the Box Center Wang Theater. Josh Freese is going to be joining A Perfect Circle for like the first 3 weeks of this tour, and then he's got to leave to go back to his day job, which is the permanent drummer in the Foo Fighters. But the tour kicks off at the Box Center Wang Theater April 2nd and 3rd. Dead Poets Society at the Sinclair May 6th. The Rolling Stones at Gillette on May 30th. And let's see. And Metallica, of course, at Gillette August 2nd and 4th. Let me get caught up with... let's see. Christine says, The Who was awesome. Donna says, I hope Karen Durkot finds out how much her Walter get the insert from here is used here. When this sign came in and it says Walter get the cocktails, I thought about sending a picture to Karen Durkot because I haven't spoken to her in a while. And she is just wonderful. And I think would be so happy to know that we quote her episode all the time because she is a freaking riot. So you know what? I'm going to text her tomorrow and I need to go out for lunch with her. I love her. Let's see. She is probably the most quoted podcast episode, I think, so far, which is kind of hilarious. Jay says, do you get to MC any of these concerts? Some of them I do. Yeah, I will be the Tailgate Tour up in Maine on April 30th. I will be. Wednesday, why is your nail keep catching my... Do you have a... One of her nails has got a burr on it or something because it keeps catching on the couch. Will you just let me look? Is it this one? Which one is it, Wednesday? The big gig, obviously, Mike Shue and I will be hosting that one as well. So, yeah, from time to time, I do end up going up and hosting these shows as well. Sometimes I don't know I'm going to do it, and then I go to the show and the band's like, you're going to introduce us, right? Like at Static X. These things happen. All right, shows at Fenway this summer. Hootie and the Blowfish, the Summer Camp with Trucks tour featuring Collective Soul, Bare Naked Ladies, and Edwin McCain. That is on June 21st. The Foo Fighters sold out Fenway on July 21st. Blink-182 at Fenway July 23rd. Def Leppard and Journey on the Summer Stadium tour with Heart August 5th. Green Day, the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas August 7th. And Pearl Jam, 2 shows on the Dark Matter tour September 15th and 17th. Let's see. Christine says, my customer's husband's name is Walter. Every time she says Walter, I chuckle. That's hilarious. Wednesday needs a manicure, actually a spa day. Trina, giving Wednesday manicures is like hell on earth. She hates it. Pugs hate having their nails done. She is one of those pugs. She just absolutely hates it. Shows come to the Palladium in Worcester. Queensryche and Armored Saint on April 27th. Maylene and the Sons of Disaster on May 18th. And also, because it's the same company putting the shows together, the NoFX Finale Tour, August 31st and September 1st at Campanelli Stadium in Brockton. Those shows are also on sale. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Guster, is coming up in just a few days. Judas Priest on April 25th. The Black Crowes on the 28th of April. Bad Religion and Social D on May 7th. Gary Clark Jr. on June 7th. Kings of Leon announced for September 16th. More shows getting announced all the time. You need to make shirts saying, Walter, get the cocktail, says Donna. Or just Walter, get the pipe, which is what she says in the episode, which is so funny. Did I miss birthdays? Did I get my unbirthday? Keith, happy unbirthday. Sorry, I started talking about my friend Mikey Kennedy and then I forgot to unbirthday you. So happy unbirthday, Keith. Walter says, what a great summer at Fenway. Agreed. Let's see. Bruins are tied at 3. Thank you for the update, Jason. Trent Frederick tied the Bruins game at 3. That is awesome. Let's see. What's up, Joe? Says, hey on Instagram. Was Fuel with the Black Crowes for the BFD in Lowell back in the day? It's possible. I know that Corey Glover, as a solo artist, was on that free BFD in Lowell. Corey Glover, of course, from Living Colour, released a solo album, and I know he was on that lineup. It's possible that Fuel was too. We were expecting 10,000 people, and 40,000 people showed up. It was insane. I was up in Portland and heard you on the radio, says Joe. Fantastic. You can listen to The Bone anytime you want if you download the Bone app. Donna says, I forgot to unbirthday you. Walter says, let's go bees. So all of these shows at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway, there are a lot of them and there are more coming, just so you're clear. Let's see. Why won't this change? There we go. House of Blues, Architects on May 6th, Black Veil Brides on May 8th, Hatebreed on their 30th anniversary tour with Carcass, Harm's Way, and Crypta. That is September 27th. Those tickets just went on sale this past Friday. And then at the Paradise Rock Club in Boston, Girls School, they're on March 29th. And I was talking about last week's guest on the podcast, Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. His solo tour is going to bring him to the Paradise Rock Club on July 22nd. And he's doing all of those solo gigs and then going out in the fall with Breaking Benjamin. City Winery Boston welcoming Jesus Jones April 2nd. Soto Beeler on April 6th, 10,000 Maniacs on April 28th, and Hawthorne Heights on May 6th. And at the Stage at Suffolk Downs, this was a new addition to the calendar last week. A day to remember the story so far and 4 years strong. A massive outdoor show at the newly reopened Stage at Suffolk Downs. The show's happening Friday, June 28th, and tickets are on sale now. So another outdoor venue, but this time in Boston, pretty epic. Suffolk Downs, I mean, the Beatles played there years ago. What is going on? Why is the screen like that? That's very weird. There we go. Okay, new releases coming out this Friday include Deep Purple's 50th anniversary re-release of Machine Head. This album got remixed by Dweezil Zappa, and it is all remixes of Deep Purple's album that turns 50 this year. Puscifer, A Perfect Circle, and Primus are releasing the Sosanta EPPP ahead of the tour, obviously. And Sum 41 are releasing their final album, Heaven by Hell, which is coming out on Friday as well. Bruins 4-3, says Brian. Oh my God. Jessica wants to know, is Sevendust still touring? They were just at the Palladium 2 or 3 weeks ago on the Machine Killer tour with Static X. They're out on the road with Static X right now. Walter wants to know, Mistress Carrie, will you be attending those shows for Godsmack in New Hampshire and Maine? I don't know yet. It is so hard for me with all of the radio shows and all of the concerts. Sometimes there are 3 and 4 concerts on the same day. It's hard for me to be able to tell you exactly where I'm going to be that far ahead of time, but there's a good chance that I could be up there for sure. How do you feel about Biscuit coming to Mansfield this summer? Jay, I got to tell you, every once in a while, a band ends up in the crosshairs for hatred. It happened to Nickelback. It happened to Limp Bizkit. It happened to Imagine Dragons. I like all of those bands. I never hated Limp Bizkit. I refuse to say I don't like Limp Bizkit because I had so many good times at Limp Bizkit shows, including at Woodstock 99. Which is something that I talked to Head about from Korn a few weeks ago on the podcast. I knew that it was rough going for people that weren't prepared at Woodstock. I went to Woodstock 99 prepared because I had gone to Woodstock 94. So I knew, we got an RV, we brought our own food and our own water, and we had a generator, and we brought cash with us because I know that the ATMs were always a disaster. So I feel like I was kind of better prepared than most people at Woodstock 99. And then obviously it was just so hot. And for us having all of our own provisions, like we were okay. So I just went for the amazing music. Finding out after the fact about the fighting and the assaults and the violence and like all of that kind of stuff that happened. I was there during the riots at the very end when the Red Hot Chili Peppers and everybody started lighting fires and all of that stuff. But I really didn't know how bad it was until much later. The documentaries, the number of sexual assaults, I had no idea that any of that happened. I just had an absolute blast because of Limp Bizkit. So I refuse to say that I don't like Limp Bizkit. So the fact that Limp Bizkit's going back out on the road again, I'm all about it. Boston Exterior Modeling says, other news, I broke my leg at a Pennywise concert at the age of 40 in the mosh pit like a week ago. Then he says, love you, Mistress Carrie. That's the way to keep it young. I'm sorry you're going to be laid up on crutches, but the hell with getting old. Jessica says, Ann Wilson has an amazing voice, 100%. She's been on the podcast. Nancy Wilson's been on the podcast. Christine says, Limp Bizkit on the rooftop in downtown Boston. You were broadcasting. I was on MTV. It was insane. It was so good. You got to give it to Fred and the band. They are still going after all this time. That's the thing. everything comes full circle. Now there's a whole new generation of kids that are discovering Limp Bizkit and Jenko Jeans and Korn and POD and Rage Against the Machine and Deftones and Seven Dust and Linkin Park, all of these bands. So I'm all about it. I had a blast at those Limp Bizkit shows, so I refuse to say that I don't like them. I really like Limp Bizkit and Nickelback, says Donna. Yeah, I like the music. I have fun at the shows. I'm not going to apologize for it. Okay, it's time for mail call. Wednesday's head just popped up. So first of all, in mail call, I got this sign. I don't know who sent it, but it came in. It's amazing. I have the control right here. Let me see. I can change the colors. It goes from red to teal to purple to blue to white. Then I can get it to flash if I want, which is pretty cool. Then it'll fade if I want it to fade, which is pretty cool. It'll blink if I want it to blink. But I'm just going to leave it purple. There we go. So I don't know who sent the sign, but I love the sign. It's metal. It's laser cut. It's got a whole string of LEDs on the back. It's totally badass. So thank you to whoever sent the sign. I absolutely love it. I don't know if I'm going to permanently install it here in the War Room or if I want to put it in MCHQ, but I think it's super badass. But I will do my best to bring it up in the show every week and have it in the background. I just can't leave it where it is because I've got the cord running through the couch cushions and stuff. So, all right. Other mail call. Look at Wednesday. Look at her. Are you kidding me? Wednesday, you are the most spoiled dog I have ever seen. You need to back up a little. You need to back up. Oh my God. Denise. I don't know where you find giant carrots that have crinkly plant tops and a squeaker. But Wednesday, this is for you. What do you think? Is that for you? What do you think? Huh? What do you think? Should we open the card? I'm assuming the carrot's for you and not me. Why did Peter Rabbit cross the road? Dogs, big neighborhood dogs. Happy Easter to Carrie, Wednesday, and the Wolf Pack. Love, Denise. Love it. And Denise, I already know what's in here because I could smell them at the post office. Denise sent me Anna's toast. Oh my God, these are so good. They make me weep. They're so good, Denise. When I see these care packages come in for Easter or whenever, when you send me these cookies, having grown up making these, having like that smell be, oh my God, they're so good. Wednesday, you can't have these. These are not for you. These are Mommy's cookies, not your cookies. Oh, so good. Jessica says the sign is so rad. Marcy says put it in MCHQ. Trina says she sent it. Trina, you did that? Why didn't you put your name on it? I was dying to know who sent it. It is so freaking cool. Walter says, take care, all duty calls. Louise says, love the sign. Donna says, the carrot is as big as she is. Christine says, I am dog sitting, and they just went crazy for the squeaking. Yeah, that happens from time to time. Get all of your dogs all riled up. Carol says, I want to send you biscotti, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Carol, you can send me whatever you want. Denise is not going to be upset if somebody else sends me cookies. Bruins won 4-3, says Bish. Oh my God. Can you share with the class? Bish, I wish that I could share these with the class. They are unbelievable. They're so good. Trina says, I did not have that option in the shipping. Trina, I love the sign. It's so cool. The detail in the laser cutting, like all the way down to like the A in Walter, like it's perfect. It's so good. Oh, that cookie was so good. Thank you, Denise. And thank you, Trina. I love the signs. I got the laser cut War Room sign that came in years ago. I just got to find a way to get it hung. It came with a chain to hang this one so that I can hang it somewhere, but you're limited on how long the cord is. So I got to find a place that I can hang it up. Okay. Wednesday. You got two. A little one and a big one. What's this? Melissa send you a carrot? Did she send you a carrot? Or peas? I just want to go on record to say that if these peas were a different color, it would be dirty. I'm just saying. Me and Jenny go together like peas and carrots. Had to. Right, Wednesday? You got new toys? Can you say thank you? You're so spoiled. Let me open this card. Marcy says, oh my God, that is so awesome, Trina. Carol says, way to go, Trina. I know. I don't know where you guys find this stuff, but it's so freaking badass. It's so cool. Chris says, hola. The carrot is so adorable, says Jessica. I'll do the dishes. I'll bake, says Trina. This says, happy Easter. Hoping your Easter is filled to the top with surprises and fun times that just never stop. Carrie, Mistressy, and Wednesday and family. Wishing you a happy Easter. Much love. Melissa, Tom, Opal, and Pearl. Oh, thank you guys. Opal's my birthstone. Did you know that? Did I tell you that already? Wednesday, you even got a butterfly. You got a butterfly. Do you want to eat the butterfly? Here. You want to eat the butterfly? Here. Look at all of these new toys you got. They all have little cute faces and this giant carrot, right? Can you say thank you for my toys? Oh my God. First of all, caramel bunnies for Easter. Where are you finding this stuff? The Dunkin' iced coffee jelly beans have returned. Oh. And Dunkin' now has chocolate donut flavored filled chocolate eggs. When did these come out? This is getting opened immediately. Immediately. When did these come out? Okay. Blue is coconut. Brown is brownie batter, coffee, chocolate, egg. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm going to taste test it for you. You said peas and carrots right when I was eating a chocolate, says David. Our 15-year-old Min Pin and Chihuahua mix just looked up at the squeaking. Oh my God. I might need a minute. These are legit. These are good. And they came in a purple Easter basket. And they need to be arm's length away from me at this very moment. Because I'm going to eat all of them. Right, Wednesday? Oh my God, those are so good. Did you find those online? Where did you get those? Those are good. Jessica says Target or Walmart. I bought some at Wegmans. Carol says I need those. Oh my God, there's coconut ones. So there's jelly donut, brownie batter, and coconut. Fine, I'll try the jelly donut. Because you were thinking it. Don't say you weren't thinking it. Donna says, oh my God. Hey, Carrie, I'm running my last ever road race for the BAA 10K in June. Why is it your last ever road race? So the jelly donut ones are white chocolate. Oh my God. It tastes like a jelly donut. Oh my God, they're so good. I can't eat any more of those right now. I will eat the whole thing. Donna says, please share where. Melissa says, online at Walmart. Guys, those are good. You're making a boy on pain meds very hungry. Eric, I'm sorry. You know I have to try these things for you. I'm doing it for you. I don't want to eat them. I'm doing it for you. You're welcome, by the way. All right. That is mail call. Thank you, guys. You guys are amazing. Wednesday, can you say thank you? Can you say thank you? Huh? Can you say thank you for your present? Okay, I have some big news about the online store. There is a lot of new merch on the way. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I've already started showing you guys some work. You guys know that Vader Percussion is making Mistress Carrie Bitch Stick drumsticks, which I should have soon. You guys asked me for pullover hoodies. They are coming. I was on the phone with T-Shirt Brian today. We are working on getting them for the big gig. We are also working on the 3/4 sleeve shirts, but all black with different logos and designs, and hoping to have those at the big gig. And also there are Father's Day onesies that are in development and will be available online for Father's Day this year. There are mom onesies in the online store. The dads have been asking where the dad onesies are. The dad onesies are coming. Ralph says, hey, Carrie and Wednesday, better late than never. Bish says, I'm retiring. My knees are just getting beaten up after all of these years. Bish, I totally get it. I totally understand. Mark says, let's watch Carrie eat. Woohoo. Look, I'm sorry. You guys send me this food. I have to try it for you. These are things I had never seen before. I have to tell you if they're good or not. They're good. Trina says, bitch sticks. I love it. Yay, T-shirt Brian. Yeah, he's working very hard. We are working on the new designs. Christine at Latini Creative has been working on artwork for me. She's been working very hard. So there is a bunch of new merch coming. Also, some other new products for the summer are going to be hitting the store very soon. So definitely some new stuff coming in the next few weeks for sure. Let's see. Got to get one for my granddaughter, 100%. The hoodies, yes. And you will be happy to know that these pullover hoodies and these black and gray 3/4 sleeve shirts come in 4X, as well as 3X, 2X, double X, 1X, no X. But I have been getting asked for bigger sizes. We were able to get the pullover hoodies and the shirts in 4X. So they will be available in 4X in the store. And Travis says the hoodie is fire. Trina, I'm working on dog shirts. I needed to get the pullover hoodies because I've been promising them forever. I needed to get those done. I needed to get the Father's Day onesies done. And I needed to get these all black 3/4 sleeve shirts done. So these are all coming out. The next thing is dog shirts and bandanas. Those are two of the next things on the merch list. So I am working on it. Full size onesies, like for adults, I don't have those yet. Can the onesie fit my 18-year-old? Not yet. Up to 24 months, I think the onesies come in. The bandanas are coming, Bish. I'm working on it. Are there still Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts in the store? Jason, yes, there are. If you find them in the store, if they are in stock, you can buy them. If they are not in stock, the size will be grayed out. But I believe I have all of the War Room sizes in stock. So sweatpants, Marcy, working on those too. You need to do dog toys for dogs. Like my head, should we make my head like a dog toy? That would be kind of funny. Love for us broad-shouldered Shrek dudes. Travis, you guys said you wanted bigger sizes. I talked to Brian. I got bigger sizes. So 100%. About the live stream. So I have been showing some of the mock-ups of the new merch to people with Mistress Carrie backstage passes. If you do not have a backstage pass, you can get one on Patreon. Just click the Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com or go to patreon.com/mistresscarrie. Get a backstage pass. You get exclusive live streams once a month. Our live stream is going to be Thursday night at 7:30 this Thursday. Normally we do them on Sundays, but it's Easter and Mr. C is going to be here. So I don't want to do the live stream on Sunday. So I was going to do it this Thursday night so as not to coincide with whatever holiday celebrations you have going on this weekend. So Thursday night, 7:30, I will see all of the backstage pass holders. You also find out who's going to be on the podcast, so you can submit podcast questions, get travel blog updates, early access to event information and tickets, and exclusive concert ticket giveaways. Right now, backstage pass holders have access to free Cage the Elephant tickets to see them at the Xfinity Center on August 22nd. And when new merch comes out, you get discount codes to be able to buy it first if you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass. So if you don't have one, get one on Patreon. Click the backstage pass Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com. We have a lot to talk about on Thursday night, guys. So I will see you guys on Thursday. As a reminder of all the places you can find me online: Twitter, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, Patreon, and on the Pike app and on the Bone app. All of it is linked at mistresscarrie.com. And don't forget, the podcast also has Instagram and Threads as well. So, right? And Wednesday has Instagram, right? Are you almost ready to say goodnight? Do you want to say thank you for everybody spoiling you? Do you want to say thank you? Huh? You just punched me in the face Wednesday. Say hello, everyone. All right, you can get down. You can get down. Let me catch up on these final comments before I say goodnight to you guys. Yes, do dog toys of your head. I don't even know how I would go about doing that, but I'd be totally willing to do it. That would be hilarious. Marcy says, you're welcome, Wednesday. Hey, Wednesday, you are so stinking cute. Wednesday is the best. Happy Easter, everyone. Good night. My B-day is Saturday. Busy weekend. Kim, happy early birthday to you. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates. Trina says there's something else coming for you with no card. It has a skull on it. Oh, really? Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to let you go. Don't forget, Chris Jericho on the podcast starting at midnight tonight. episode 199, which means episode 200 is coming up next week. Who's my guest going to be on episode 200? I know, but I'm not going to tell you right now, but you'll find out next Tuesday night. Episode 199 goes live in just a couple of hours. Chris Jericho from Fozzy. I am going to go and try to not eat all of Denise's cookies and all of that Dunkin' Donuts candy. But it's so delicious. Good night, guys.